My name is Brian Collins. I'm the GIS Manager for the Montana Department of Natural Resources and Conservation. I'd like to just give some broad context before we sort of get into the details about our project. In terms of being a GIS manager and those of us in this industry, the amount of work that we do as related to our focus and commitment to our profession can sometimes be overwhelming. It oftentimes is for my team and I, and yet sometimes opportunities come our way to be engaged at a very high level with projects like the Montana Forest Action Plan. So very excited to be here with you today. Appreciate the invitation. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to my friend and colleague, Wyatt.
Thank you, Brian, and good morning, everyone. My name is Wyatt Frampton, and I'm the Forest Action Plan Project Manager for the Montana DNRC. And before we start, I've got an ironic story to share. About 15 years ago, as a frustrated college freshman, I muttered something like, "This GIS stuff is never going to take off." And yet, here I am today, and in my career, I can't count the number of times I've been proven wrong for uttering that statement. But anyways, I'm excited to be here with you all today and share with you the ways we've been using Esri platforms to build trust, identify problems, and discover collaborative solutions. So to start, I'm going to briefly talk about what a forest action plan is, and from there, we will describe some of the opportunities that it presented. So in 2008, with the Farm Bill, Congress asked all states to assess the conditions of their forests and to develop solutions to collectively resolve identified issues. So basically, they're a tool to help coordinate land management agencies and collaboratives to work together to address issues like wildfire risk and forest health conditions within a state at a landscape scale in a collaborative fashion. And in Montana, to be successful, we knew we needed to not only understand conditions, but also communicate those conditions to create a common operating picture for agencies and the public. We also needed to identify priority areas where the worst forest health conditions and wildfire risk to communities, watersheds, and infrastructure existed. Then we needed to propose landscape scale cross-boundary forest restoration solutions and strategies for the priority areas we identified that could be utilized by our partners collectively.
Right, and so in terms of sort of the commentary that Wyatt just provided there and his context of what our mission is, I just wanted to mention again that from my perspective as a GIS manager and looking at the importance of this project, thinking about technological alignment with the business needs of the Forest Action Plan, it really touched upon a few things that I've been learning about in recent years: change management, geospatial strategy. And it was a great way for me to get executive sponsorship in the role that GIS would play beyond modeling and analysis, but really into that communication and engagement factor by demonstrating web apps, story maps, dashboards, and especially ArcGIS Hub that we'll be demoing here shortly as a way to sort of be the primary digital representation of the Forest Action Plan.
And so our governor formed a 24-person advisory committee to assist with the development of the plan and ensure an emphasis on cross-boundary management and collaboration. So with this council, our partners, and the people of Montana, we needed to create a picture of issues and conditions in the state. And we used Hub to coordinate, share information, build trust, and help inform decisions. Recently, it's become even more important for us as we've been utilizing it to continue to make progress on our plan during the current pandemic. So we understood early on that building support for the plan with tools that help people do their day jobs would be critical to the long-term success and implementation of our plan.
Right, so with that in mind, one of our initial product releases was an Esri story map. Very fun and exciting, engaging project for my team to work with a larger collective team in terms of communications, project management, et cetera, to develop this particular story map, Finding Common Ground, which identifies 5 areas in the state of Montana where there's existing efforts at this cross-boundary attempts at landscape level sort of forest restoration. efforts. And I'm not going to scroll through the entire story here. I'll feature one of the chapters, if you will, one of the 5 locations, which is Wildfire Adapted Missoula, that just tells the story of efforts in the community where Wyatt and I live to improve forest health and protect against wildfire risk. So that was our first product launch, and very successful, wonderful feedback, really fun project to work on. What we're really excited about, though, that I mentioned before, was the utilization of ArcGIS Hub to provide that common operating platform for the 2020 Montana Forest Action Plan. You're all encouraged to please visit montanaforestactionplan.org to dig deeper into these resources that we've been working on, from a general perspective, access to not only data information that I'll focus on in just a moment, but meeting materials around the Forest Action Advisory Council meetings that have been going on since last fall, news and information, document resources, capabilities to submit commentary via Survey 123 forms, etc. And then I'm going to take a moment here to switch over and jump into some of the data resources that we have here. So this was really our agency's first full-fledged attempt at developing some open data content. So the components that have gone into the modeling and analysis to identify priority areas are all available here on this page as open data resources. And then on top of those, we developed some custom web app builder web applications that people could actually get into the content and begin to interact and understand what it meant to them, especially in the areas that are important to them or that they're interested in. And then one really exciting thing is that we were able to utilize the community accounts within ArcGIS Hub to allow the Forest Action Council members access to gated content, again, that would allow them to have sort of information at their fingertips during the council meetings, moving through this process of identifying priority areas on a common operating picture platform. And so this particular product that Wyatt and I will spend a few more minutes here talking about is what I would call sort of a hybrid implementation of web app builder, web application, and operations dashboard that we're utilizing as an interactive resource currently for those council member participants in this process, as well as executives. In fact, our governor's office is currently accessing this and starting to utilize it as they go through the draft forest action plan. Information on the side in terms of the modeling and analysis methodology, we utilized GeoPlanner, ArcGIS Pro, et cetera, for those purposes. Informative metrics at a statewide scale in terms of the land ownership that's represented by the priority area polygons on the map. And we'll take just one moment here to jump into a county specific example that Wyatt can speak to in terms of how we plan to utilize this and make it available ultimately to the public.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. So in the thread of making sure that this is a useful tool to Montanans, we had several test groups, and based on their feedback, we built the pop-ups to share information that would be pertinent to them while they were doing their jobs, and also sharing general information that describes the wildfire risk and forest health challenges our state is facing. So when you interact with these pop-ups, you'll see information like acres per polygon that are in the wildland urban interface, or in a drinking water supply, as well as wildlife management concerns that might be particular to a specific area. And so to close, what these platforms have enabled us to do is reduce the friction between data and the people that need to be informed by it. We've removed some of the technical knowledge or staff power required to leverage some of this geospatial information and helped put it in the hands of our local governments, tribal nations, and agency partners. And so this is and will continue to help increase collaboration, efficiency, and positive outcomes for the people of Montana. And I want to thank everyone for your time today.
Similar to Wyatt, thanks very much, everyone, for allowing us to participate in this event today. We're very excited about this project and the utilization of this technology to really accomplish our mission. Appreciate it. Thanks very much.